Welcome Star Wars Unlimited fans to today's video where today we are looking at the most unique piloting leader from Jump to Lightspeed, Poe Dameron, the man that can fly anything. So Poe Dameron is completely different to all the other piloting leaders like Darth Vader, Von Reg, Luke Skywalker, because his ability on his unawakened side is action, pay 1 and tap him. You can flip this leader and attach him as an upgrade to a friendly vehicle unit without a pilot on it. He gets a +2/+1 upgrade power. Then, on his awakened side, while he's attached to his vehicle, you can pay 1, and then you can pay 1 or 2, and you can flip him into another vehicle. So basically, he can hop from vehicle to vehicle to vehicle, as long as there's not a pilot on that vehicle. Now, because of this, he does not have the epic action to basically turn into an upgrade. So his epic action is much like any normal leader. He turns himself into a ground unit. That's his whole stick. His epic action turns himself into a ground unit, and when he's a ground unit, he's a vanilla ground unit. He has no special abilities. His ability to flip to different ships is a upgrade ability, so he has to be upgraded on a ship to do it. So he awakens at 5 to become a ground unit, and then on his unawakened side, he could just kind of just jump around, and even on his, as he's upgraded, he can just jump around. So the whole gimmick is Poe just jumps from ship to ship to ship to ship. And even if you burn the epic action, you can still use this ability multiple times over to just hop him into different ships. Now, it is also duly noted that this is an action ability on his unawakened side, meaning that if he dies on the ship and you haven't burnt the epic action yet, he can still do this. So even after you burn the epic action, you can still do this every single time. And also be aware that when he dies on the ship, he comes back exhausted. So he comes back exhausted, meaning that you can't immediately just like bring him out and flip him onto another ship again. So just be mindful of the fact that he comes back exhausted if he dies as an upgrade on a ship. But he's the most unique leader I have seen so far from Jump to Lightspeed. That and like Admiral Trench being able to come out because he doesn't have an action. But yeah, so there's really 2 ways to play this leader. You could play ECL, which I tested out a lot and I thought about a lot. But again, you kind of need the ejects to do some things with him. But while looking around for all of that, I did find this like aggression heroic build, and that's what we're trying out today. So the whole deck revolves around aggression and heroic. So let's check out the rest of the deck. We're running 3 BB-8. He can pilot for 1, and basically just pilot for 1. By the way, Poe needs a ship without a pilot on it. So if you have BB-8 on a ship or R2-D2 on a ship, Poe can't connect to that ship. So what you want to do if you want to attach these 2, you pay the 1, tap Poe, slip him under the ship, and then after that, attach BB-8. Or R2-D2, because they can attach to ships that already have pilots on them. Poe just can't go on. He has to have a vehicle without a pilot on it. Anyway, so BB-8, when played as an upgrade, you may pay 2 if you do ready resistant units, which means that we can ready any resistant unit. So if we have Poe Dameron under a ship that has a resistance keyword on it, we can ready that ship up. Or, of course, I believe that when played as an upgrade, I believe you can also upgrade his ship. No, it won't get the resistance tag. It's an upgrade. We have 3 of the R2-D2. Remember, he can upgrade 4 completely free. And then this upgrade can be played on a friendly vehicle unit. The pilot BB-8 has to go to his own, but typically we'll just upgrade him on something and then we'll restand if Poe happens to be on a resistance unit. Anyways, then the attached unit, you can deploy 1 or more pilots on this unit. So that's what R2 allows you. It allows you to pilot 2 because, again, he's an astromech, so typically you'd have the astromech and the pilot piloting the ship. 3 Sabine Wren, just to, if we're playing Red Heroic, you could play Sabine Wren. Again, Cassian Andor, 3 of him, because, again, we're playing Red Heroic, just a very good Red Heroic card. Another really good Red Heroic card is Fighters for Freedom. And again, down that line, K2SO. And then finally, the last Red Heroic card we're playing for the units is the Guerrilla Attack Pod. Again, when played, if a base, yours or your opponent's, has 15 or more damage on it, you just get to ready this unit. For our space units, we have 3 black 1, while this unit is upgraded, doesn't matter how it's upgraded, you get a +1/+0 on attack if you control Poe Dameron as a unit, as an upgrade, or as a leader, you may deal 1 damage to a unit. Which means you can deal it to your own Gorilla Attack Pod to pop the grit effect on it. So anyways, we'll always have this effect active because we will have a Poe Dameron, always. Because he's our leader. 3 red Squadron A Wing, 3 red Squadron Y Wing on attack, deal 3 indirect damage to a defending player. They sign the unpreventable damage among their base and units. By the way, indirect damage can go right through shields. It doesn't ping off shields, it goes right through shields. 3 droid missile platform. When defeated, you deal 3 indirect damage to a player. 3 tactical heavy bomber, the worst bomber in Star Wars history. On attack, deal indirect damage equal to this unit's power to the defending player. If a base is damaged this way, draw a card. So a lot of times, you may not get the base damage one, because typically your opponent isn't going to let you just get a draw, but if this is the only, but if your opponent has no units, they have to assign all 3 indirect damage to their base, then that's perfectly fine. We will get our draw 1. And then finally for our space unit, 3 Relentless Fire Spray, which again is what we kind of want to do here. On attack, ready this unit uses ability only once each round. So basically this thing can attack twice, and with Poe on it, it's attacking for 6 damage. And then for our events, we got Stay on Target, attack with a vehicle unit. For this attack, it gets +2/+0 and gains if it damaged the base, draw a card. 3 Cause I Believe In, because we'll have plenty of heroic stuff to pull from. The only thing that's not heroic is the droid missile platform and the Relentless Fire Spray and our Aggression and Bravado. So again, you reveal top 4 card your deck for each heroic card you reveal this way, deal 1 damage to any base, and then discard any of the revealed cards and put the rest on top of your deck. Triple Aggression. Choose 2 in any order. Draw a card, defeat up to 2 upgrades, ready a unit with 3 or less power, or deal 4 damage to a unit. And then finally, 2 Bravado. Now, you can do this as 𝐒𝐍𝐿garyon's turn as well. So 𝐒𝐍𝐿garyon's turn targets 6 or less ships and readies them. But anyways, Bravado is basically the exact same thing, but 𝐒𝐍𝐿garyon's turn readies ships, while Bravado can ready any unit, and does go down to 3 costs if you defeated an enemy unit this phase. This event costs 2 less to play. So you can do 𝐒𝐿garyon's turn if you just want to basically bring up all of this, or you can play Bravado to allow you to ready any unit. So again, even though we readied the Fire Spray with its ability, you could do Bravado to ready it again, and then you swing again. And if Poe is attached to that, as they said, is 18 damage on your enemy's base. For the sideboard from this deck, you have Heroic Resolve, Bo-Katan, Power Failure, and Red 3. Now again, here's always a little bit of the information from the original deck builder. Fire Spray and Poe and Vavo was 18 damage to a base, which is extremely dangerous to a lot of bases, especially the 25 power bases. R2 and BB-8 as upgrades always. BB-8 for late game to ready Poe as a ground unit because he is resistance. You always resource Cassian. I don't know why you're never resourcing Cassian. And you stay on target with Red Squadron Y-Wing and attack the base. If the indirect damage gets dealt to a base, then you get to draw 2 cards. Again, stay on target says when this unit deals damage to a base, draw a card, so that's naturally going to be, of course, the Y-Wing's normal attack. And then if that's the only unit right now your opponent has no units to damage, the Y-Wing's ability to do the 3 indirect triggers again, which again triggers stay on target, because when this unit deals damage to a base, draw a 2nd card. So, that is our Poe Aggression Heroic. Let's take it to Carabas and see how well we do. Alright folks, it's Quinlan Boss. He's still staying around, not as a meta-relevant deck. The meta right now is kind of around, Django Tarkentown is like really the meta. I don't think that's a horrible hand. I don't think it's like a great hand. I think we can keep. I don't think it's like the best. We'll probably put away the Gorilla Attack Pod and the A-Wing. But yeah, so Quinlan Boss is still kind of sticking around Tarkentown and all of that. But anyways, it's now attached to the Data Vault, which is a very interesting card because you get to increase, you have to increase your minimum deck size from 50 cards to 60 cards. So you have to build a minimum 60 card deck. Means you get a lot more things, so kind of interesting to see this version of Quinlan boss than the normal version that you see kind of hanging around. But nonetheless, it still doesn't really matter. Quinlan boss, if you've never seen him, when you play a unit, you may exhaust this leader. If you do, deal 1 damage to an enemy unit. That costs the same as the unit played, so you need a 2 to deal a 2 damage. We're going to claim the initiative because next turn we're just going to stick Poe onto the A wing and then basically start going ham. Don't know if we want the Resistance Bomber just yet. K2 is a really good 4-drop next turn. I think honestly we're just going to go for the Resistance Bomber. Anyways, we'll stick a Poe under there. Again, Poe gives a +2/+1 upgrade on him. He's going to trigger Grogu here so that he can ensure that I don't swing with Poe and as a Y-wing. Okay, so we will hook R2 under that. So yeah. I'm just basically telling him if he wants to swing at Poe, he has to swing. Oh, now that's actually really good too, because you can deal damage to a base. Ooh, stay on target is actually going to be pretty nice here too, because that means we can deal the extra another 2 damage and draw another card. I think we're going to have to do Fighters for Freedom, because this turn I think maybe we should just go K2. Now the question is, because the Millennium Falcon is so good, you just return your hand and it comes back completely scot-free of all the damage. Anyways, we'll swing on the base. We've already dealt 6 damage. Again, we have a raid 2 on us, so we're dealing 6 here. And again, Poe is also buffing that up with Art 2. And then we'll probably be dropping K2SO here. So that we can, of course, just have him on the board. The Millennium Falcon is a 3-costed character, so Quinlan boss right now just can't trigger on anything because there's nothing for Quinlan boss to target unless he drops either a 2-drop or, okay, so Spark of Rebellion. So he's going to look at my hand and discard a card from it. Still just so strong. He did get rid of the K2. There's not really much we can do with what we got in our hand. Stay on target and all that. The Missile Droid platform will be pretty nice. I think right now, BB-8 isn't going to be impactful for us because there's nothing for us to really do. So we'll swing again with Poe. We should probably have done stay on target to get another draw. We'll do the missile platform here. Quinlan boss does the exact same thing on his awakened side as he does on his unawakened side. Again, most of these leaders do the exact same thing they do. By the way, I did say right here, Poe Dameron's ability to pay 1 action, attach this unit as a friendly upgrade to a vehicle unit without a pilot on it. So again, you can do that 1. So it's just a cost 1. I said cost 1 or 2, but you could just swap them right over to this vehicle over here. We're just going to claim. At this point, I mean, we got a Relentless Fire Spray, which we drop next turn, and all that. So the big question is, does he keep the Millennium Falcon? You have to pay 1 to keep the Falcon up, and no matter where this Falcon goes, it dies to either the Droid Missile Platform, which then deals 3 indirect damage. So he's going to knock out Poe here, which kind of makes sense if you ask me. R2, so we killed off the Millennium Falcon to kill off Poe, which kind of is probably the better target in my opinion, because of it. But anyways, at the end of this, we are going to be taking 3 damage because, again, Grogu does not have an attack. His whole stick is that he actions to rest something. Oh, that black 3 is actually is pretty nice. I think we're going to have to resource it here. Okay, so I think honestly we should just put out the fire spray, just because I guess we should have probably swung the droid missile platform so I could at least get the 4 damage on him. That's probably what I should have done there because the Grogu effect is active. Ooh, Genuine Blade. We're definitely getting up. We can bring out Poe as a leader, by the way, and epic action him. I don't think it's worth it right now. We could do it to knock out the R2 so we don't have to deal with the 2 damage. Hooing on probably Quinlan. Yup. Mr. Quinlan is like massive at this point. I'm going to bring out Poe. I know he's not going to swing at Poe, but okay, he did swing at Poe. Okay. I was kind of hoping maybe for a bait because I did kind of want to knock out R2. But I guess I'll take that bait for days. Okay, what we definitely need to see is Bravado. Now, there's no way Bravado works. That's why I think I like 𝐂𝐍𝐉𝐴n's turn over Bravado. Oh, shoot. Yeah, because it's on attack, we get that ability. So, unfortunately, this Grogu is going to be annoying because he just taps it down to tap down the fire spray. Yeah, that is one problem that we're going to have with this Grogu sitting right there, is the fact that or our opponent's just going to yeah, no, my opponent is taking 3 indirect damage. I'm not taking 3 indirect damage. I thought he was going to go the Grogu. I 100% thought he was going to go Grogu. So I do get to attack with this vehicle unit. So we do this. We attack with that. We do ready ourselves up again. Now the Grogu could still tap down and tap this down, which is annoying. Or he's just going to swing on base. We swing there. That's 22 already. It's getting kind of tight. I will say that. We do have for a cause I believe in, which I think we need to pump this turn. So let's do a cause I believe in. We're going to put this on top, and I think we're going to discard and discard. So that gives us Bravado. Now, mind you, Bravado can't do anything this turn because we haven't killed anything. That's the one problem with Bravado. That's why I think 𝐂𝐍𝐉𝐴n's turn is just so much better. I think we can get the win from here. I don't think we... Actually, no, we can pay for Bravado at 5 because we're at 7 energy. I don't think we really... Yeah, that's what I was a little afraid of. But anyways, I did drop Bravado. My opponent knew I had Bravado. So it did burn this, and this on attack does get to restand again. He does... your opponent discards a unit card from their hand, then you may exhaust a unit. Oh my gosh, I have to discard units! Oh my gosh, and I have to actually bring tap down Poe. Oh my gosh, that's actually kind of disgusting. I actually have to tap down Poe. We will claim. There's no way I'm surviving this. By the way, that's an 8. Wow, he actually got it off perfectly. Wow, he got the Grogu to tap down the fire spray, and then I Bravado the fire spray because I only have a unit in my hand. I can't do anything. So yeah, he got it. It was actually a pretty close game. All right, folks. Well, I'm actually pretty impressed with this deck. I really like it. It's kind of like Sabine, but without being the annoying Sabine. So it's hyper aggressive. I mean, that's what aggression does with some good heroic units. I mean, you could even put like Sabine's TIE Fighter here because of Sabine TIE Fighter's effect of if you have a red character, a unit with the red aspect or aggression aspect, you can deal 1 to the base or to a unit on the board. So that could be an interesting thing you could play. But yeah, like the Relentless Fire Spray on Poe, and if they hadn't had Ahsoka and we hadn't at least something we could pitch out that wasn't a unit card, we would have been perfectly fine because then we would have had at least 12 damage there. I think that wouldn't have won us the game, but I mean, we had exactly everything we needed to win the game. I mean, we had Bravado, we had Relentless, we had 3 swings with this Relentless for 18. Our opponent was on 22. At that point, we won the game. So yeah, this deck is actually pretty fun. Again, I'm just not sold on Bravado. I just think that, in my opinion, 𝐂𝐍𝐉𝐴n's turn is a little better. So let's just go look at 𝐂𝐍𝐉𝐴n's turn here really quick. We'll go to turn. Let's see if we can't find turn in. So I was looking around TCG player, but you know what? That's kind of dumb. We don't really need to look at TCG player. We just need to come over here and go into the red section. That's what we need to do. Rather than touring a TCG player to find a single card, we are going to come down here and find it. Okay, there's 𝐂𝐍𝐉𝐴n. So 𝐂𝐍𝐉𝐴n turn. Ready a fighter or transport with 6 power or less. Now, while Poe is attached to the fire spray, we're at 6. So that's why I'm saying Bravado is neat because you can ready any unit. I just think 𝐂𝐍𝐉𝐴n's turn is just a little bit better and it's a little cheaper. and we don't have to hope that something got punched out of existence to use bravado. But yeah, nonetheless, this deck is really cool. It's hyper-aggression, hyper-aggressive, just a really, really neat Poe leader. Like I said, I have tried out ECL as well, and I do think both have their place in the meta, in the game. I don't think they're meta relevant by any means right now. If you're playing Red Heroic, you're probably playing Sabine ECL. Let's all be honest. But for a really fun, just hyper-aggressive Poe, this is a lot of fun. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments on the Poe deck. Have you tried out Poe ECL? Do you think Poe ECL is better than this version of the deck? Let me know that down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on Poe as a very unique piloting leader. Yeah, let me know all your thoughts down in the comments on Jump to Lightspeed altogether. And while you're commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you know if my videos go live for you. And we'll see you here next time on Mom Dragons TCG.